It's 6 minutes past 2 p.m. We're driving over the dam of the Udawalawe Reservoir, headed straight to Udawalawe National Park. Situated on the border between the Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces, Udawalawe has been described as the only national park where an elephant sighting is guaranteed, regardless of the time of the year. It indeed lives up to its reputation, for one of the first sightings of the evening is an elephant, although it is just a glance. Udawalawe does not disappoint as we pass more and more elephants. Hundreds of visitors come to Udawalawe to see elephants every day. But elephants are not the only attractions here. You just need to look harder, and then you might notice the spotted deer in the distance, the migrant brown shrike, and plenty of Indian peafowl. Locations where land and water mingle are often the most fruitful where wildlife is concerned. Thus, at this spot, we have not only a feeding elephant, but also many birds. An Indian pond heron decked in breeding plumage. An oriental darter, also called the snake bird. A Jordan's bushlark, a common sight in Udawalawe. Probably a paddy-field pipit, given that pipits are notoriously hard to identify. A little flock of tricolored munias. A little way further, we find the carcass of a pangolin. In life, these endangered mammals are extremely elusive. While observing buffalo calves, we also find out why leopards are very hard to find here. A plain prinia, another common sight and sound in Udawalawe. A flock of juvenile munias feeding on the roadside. An elusive barred button quail disappearing into the scrub. Yet more elephants. This time it's a mother and a calf mud bathing. As they retreat into the scrub, we move on, and this time the birds we see are not to be missed, such as the endemic Sri Lanka green pigeon. The elusive brown fish owl napping on a roadside tree. It stirs, but seems undisturbed by the attention it's getting. The owl was not the only elusive bird to show up, for we saw not one but two circular malkohas, a scarce relative of the Asian koel. A majestic grey heron circles over a stretch of swamp where a herd of water buffaloes is wallowing. Closer to the shore, a little ringed plover is foraging. The calls of a pair of white-bellied sea eagles ring through the evening air.
Breeding season mating call.
We then meet a small herd of elephants feeding in the scrub.
सामान्य मेघलों के वाइस वाललिंग आउट दे हटक दे एवरेज दत एगलो दत हाय बताओ कि रेजनल जीत काले और तो पनाया टे नोड़ा अवसर दत से टेक गेरी चम एगलो खाने में तो मेरे तो वालली गोड़ा तो में ताना कोला खाना ये पड़ी पड़ी बोचर गैस में पड़ी वैली वगैरह गाती है तो उन्हें दत गेरी में बैठी वो रास्ते लातू वो तो ये वाली खाना उड़ा दत गेरी में बैठी वैसे यार हीला वाली तो ये वो क्या ये कैम कान नाम बिन्ना है मिस दिन ने उनके कान अपना पास हुआ कैम ने इनके आई काले वेडी यहाँ तो किस पार्क की वेडी है तीन दिन और एक गुना रवायत रे अन्य तो मैं खाने रैली गती वेडी नहीं होगी मर पार्ट में नस्ल
A crested hawk eagle sharing a tree with a Malabar pied hornbill. In the foreground, the hawk eagle's nest with one chick visible. Another winter migrant, the grey-bellied cuckoo. 4 orange-breasted green pigeons prepare for roosting in a dead tree. As dusk falls and day 1 ends, we drive back to the gates, eagerly awaiting the dawn of day 2. 5:53. Day 2 begins grey and gloomy, but we set off into the park in high spirits. Sure enough, several birds are up and about, like this yellow-wattled lapwing. A yellow-crowned woodpecker and a yellow-eyed babbler. A coppersmith barbet and another orange-breasted green pigeon. A little green bee-eater, perhaps one of the prettiest birds in the Sri Lankan dry zone. A baya weaver perches by the nest it's built. A painted stork patiently scans the water for prey. A peacock shows off his dazzling courtship display. The only audience visible, however, consists of a few common mynas and another Cercia malcoha. A small troop of endemic talk macaques are occupying a roadside tree. These mischievous monkeys, if sufficiently used to people, can be bold enough to steal your food. Going down the road, we meet one of the more famous elephants of the park. This big, bold male often makes his way up to the outskirts of the park, where well-intentioned people feed him, unaware that it makes him a bigger risk than ever. It's raining now and not many birds are about, but the elephants are still there, in small herds, each headed by a dominant female. This herd is dust bathing in the rain. They are standing shoulder to shoulder, forming a protective ring around their youngest calf. This is the only place where visitors can alight from their vehicles. The rain has stopped, allowing these plain tiger butterflies to come out into the open. The main attraction here is the extensive swamp, which hosts a wide variety of aquatic birds, including hundreds of cormorants, some packed onto two leafless trees, and some flying around in massive flocks. Closer to the water, a black-crowned night heron clings onto dead twigs. Another Indian pond heron, this time out of breeding plumage, does the same. As we move on, we see that the exotic weed lantana has taken over most of the scrubland. Its flowers may be attractive to butterflies, and its fruit may be palatable to birds, but it robs the soil of the nutrients that native plants need. The government is now trying to weed it out of the park. A crested hawk eagle stands guard by the roadside, exactly as this crested serpent eagle is doing. A final treat, a wet, bedraggled peacock out in the open with his mother. An unusual but endearing goodbye to one of Sri Lanka's most popular wildlife reserves.